This is the Limestone lowdown. Hear the sound when you lie through the issues all around. From every corner, let's make it clear. The change we need is starting here.
Hi everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Limestone Lowdown. Today we're going to talk about the March 10th, 2025 City Council meeting. It was kind of very light today. It only had less than 10 agenda items. But, the city's been on a tear, we'll use that word, a tear to tear down a bunch of buildings. But a bunch of buildings that, it's crazy the ones that they've been choosing that, particular families, particular, councilmen that own several houses, we won't tear those down no matter how they look and where they're at. But if there's a desirable piece of property, it don't matter what it looks like, it's gone. And that was the case. We had a desirable piece of property on 31 that had a trailer on it, which, it got brought up and the trailer had already been removed, so it's kind of a moot point that it was on there. But of course, being who we are, we went by and looked at it, and then we're like, well, there's nothing there. Did they already do it? And of course, it had already been done. But we went back to our friend Google Earth and went back in time a little bit and saw that, yes, it was actually a trailer. I mean, I didn't think the trailer looked that bad or anything.
I think it was pretty bad. I think that it did need to be torn down.
But let's say a lot of other houses need to be torn down a lot.
Well, I think that the irony in it is like the location. So, we've talked before and just, we've noticed a lot of listeners aren't from this small area. So we've got two main intersections. We have 565 or Interstate 65, which going north and south. North of us is headed to Nashville, south of us is headed to Birmingham. And then we have, Highway 72, which I guess we have three. So we have Highway 72, which runs from east of us is Huntsville, west of us is Florence, and then we have Highway 31. And 31 is where a lot of developments have been in neighborhoods. You'll have to heard us talk about the new neighborhoods and the infrastructure and things like that. And so this particular piece of property was on 31. It's right next to a cemetery. Like there's a small graveyard. So I'm not really sure what they're trying to,
what they've got planned,
what the plan for it is. Anything on those three roadways, we've noticed that they're going to try to find. And then the other house, which is right near the medical district, next to one of our big, business owners, John Plunk, right next to medical supply equipment in the medical district, was another house. So, and honestly, whenever we called, and we'll talk about this, but the city engineer told on himself, and basically what they have to do in order to acquire property is they have to do a condemnation on a building. And so that was told to us. So yeah, so it was that this property had already been removed. The owners had already been warned and things like that, and they had already torn down or removed the trailer that was there.
So basically, Eric Waddell walked up, which is the building inspector, walked up and said it's been taken care of, and walked right back down. So it took all of 2 seconds on that one. But it was just, you have to tell the story of it. Otherwise, it's like, oh, they just condemned a property, no big deal or whatever. But now it's like we're saying, where's it at? Oh, nobody that's, we'll say famous in this town owns it. So it's okay. If it's wanted and it doesn't belong to anybody famous, let's get rid of it. So
the next one is there's a public hearing for the Southern Table, which is Canebrake, which is one of the large, prestigious neighborhoods in Athens. They've got a clubhouse and they have, I guess, a chef there. And the Southern Table is a local restaurant, so they're going to take over that so I guess like the people that live there can order food and stuff like that. And they did the liquor license for that cane breaking. Ironically, our favorite city councilman, Mr. Chris Seibert, did not vote on that. I haven't been able to look in to find what his affiliation, because he doesn't live in there.
Nope.
So I wonder if he's like a part owner or something in that.
I mean, that's always possible.
Which makes sense, because they didn't let Terra Nova's renew their lease.
You're rabbit trailing now. Come on now. But yes,
and
correct.
Everybody was mad about Terra Nova's getting asked to leave. Like, nobody was for that. And then it was like, as soon as Terra Nova's, because it wasn't that Terra Nova's didn't want to, because they've been closed for like a year or two now at this point.
Because they've been waiting for that new building, which also doesn't have anybody in it now. Remember? They just opened that new shopping center that Terra Nova's was supposed to go in, and Terra Nova's went to the 31 shopping center in an already established place. So, I guess you heard it here first, guys. There could be even more to this than meets the eye, because we're just now thinking about it ourselves. Like, wait a minute, Terra Nova's was basically told, we're not going to renew your, and
it was like lease. They gave like a 2-week notice. It was it was, sorry guys, we're closing down, and that's definitely a staple in Athens. And then the next thing you know, the Southern Table's coming in its place, and then now knowing that he didn't vote on it, and we know who owns that strip of buildings.
Yes.
So anyways, next, there was a resolution to appoint Henry White to the Mental Health Center of North Central Alabama for a 6-year term.
But wait, who was he? I believe Mark told us that he used to be somebody. He was either on the city council or a commissioner or something, because he owned a large amount of land in the county. So wouldn't have known who this man was, but yeah, if he's already served, let's let him serve some more, right? Another, won't say prestigious board, but a board nevertheless.
And then there was a consent calendar that there was a resolution to approve a low bid of Woody Anderson Ford to purchase a 2025 Ford Expedition for $57,728, funded from the police department existing capital expenditure account. This was also the first city council meeting that they provided funding information and like what pot of money it came out of.
Well, I'm gonna have to stop you a second, because Amanda and Mr. Scott Marshall so Amanda and Mr. Marshall have been on them left and right about, hey, can we add more stuff? Can we add more stuff? Can we add more stuff? And lo and behold, 6-7 months later, we finally got more stuff on there. Now, I won't give them as much credit as Amanda will, that they've added some things. I think it could be better, and I think it could be more electronic up into the 21st century, but I will nevertheless acknowledge that there is something there now, and it's a start. So we're very thankful for that. So good job, Amanda. Your dogged determination has paid off.
So next thing, we've got the resolution to appoint Ronnie Marks as the voting delegate for the annual business meeting. And then Mr. Lucas will be, I guess, the alternate vote. So this was something. The next one is resolution to approve the submission of a formal amendment to request a DECA regarding the Vine Street neighborhood projects in order to reflect the total amount spent. This was one of the ones that anything to do, if they don't want to include it, this did not have a dollar amount in the agenda. Going back, there was the resolution. It ends up being like $1.4 million at this project. So they go through a DECA and they are applying for these grants that Holly Holman has done. Again, it always goes back to, we can do grants for other things, but where's the Strain Road stuff? And I know you hear us talk about it ad nauseum. But that was something that was on this meeting that they didn't include, but it was addressed. Another thing was a resolution to revise the Public Works Department org chart, just moving positions around. And then Shane Black, the city attorney, he mentioned at the beginning some properties that were, was it, a drug bust or something?
Basically, yes.
Drug houses that
It was like a cooperation between the everybody had a part in it. Like the city's got a part in it, the county's got a part in it, and the state's got a part in it. So basically, if they all agree, these can be sold, and then when they're sold, the money will be, like thirds will go back to each, and then they can do kind of whatever they want to with it. And I think they mentioned going back into the police department or something like that.
Something, yeah. Yeah, the Athens Police Department, general law enforcement purposes. That sale of those properties or auction of those properties is April 1st. There was a resolution authorizing the electric services director to accept a low bid of $611,000 for Siemens Industry for the 15 kV substation breakers for Athens Utilities director. That comes out of that Athens City 2015 warrant fund and or the 2022 warrant fund. I just don't understand how we have all this money from like 10 years ago. I still need to get some clarification on that. Then there was a resolution authorizing the electric services director to accept the low bid of $415,000 from Mitsubishi Electric Power Products for the substation breakers for multiple Athens Utilities substations. That will also come out of the 2015 and 2022 warrant fund. And the other one is also for the Electric Services Department for $662,700, also from the 2015 and 2022 warrant fund. I just don't see how we have all of this just like money just floating around.
You would think it would like close out and get added or
Rolled
go
over,
away,
yeah.
rolled up. However, you wouldn't want, okay, this is coming out of 2015, this one's coming out of 2022. Is there a 2025? I mean, we don't know.
I mean, this is nearly $1.6 million that's just spent on a few substation breakers that they're just like, and I don't mind that it's being spent, but we're spending it out of 10-year-old accounts. There were 2 additional items added.
Yes, the boiler went out in the police department, so they spent about 60 plus thousand is going to have to be spent to fix that. And I think the new police department, I say new police department, it's 10 years old now or so, or maybe 20. I don't know. I don't remember on that. But I guess that's within the life range or whatever. That's not too unexpected. And luckily, the weather, hasn't been too cold for them. So,
and then the Pecan Park Pavilion. It was the roof for the Pecan Park for $10,000. That was coming out of the FY24 general fund.
Which that's
surplus.
Basically, when you say a pavilion, that's basically what it is. I don't even know how they get away with calling it a park, because it's literally a pavilion in a parking lot right off of the square. So, yeah. But it's a park, I guess. Maybe it used to have pecans. I don't know.
Well, the boiler went out, so I guess there were 3 things. So there was another thing that says, the City of Athens, acting by and through the City Council, proposes to apply for the Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG, and Appalachian Regional Commission, the ARC grant funds, to construct road improvements near the intersection of Mooresville and 72 to serve as the new French Mill crossing development. So that was something that wasn't on the agenda, but it was on there. That is the funds in the amount of $400,000 to construct those road improvements. That the City of Athens will provide a local cash match of $618,000 to support this project.
So basically, what it was, that's for the new Publix out towards East Limestone. That initially it was going to be $1.6 million that the city was going to have to pony up for the road improvements, and they're getting 2 different $400,000 grants, which dropped the city's total down to only $600,000.
Yeah.
So that's what all that was about.
But it's still just crazy to me that we'll do all these grants and everything else, but then we have people our own, like we're doing improvements to the city and padding people's pockets for businesses coming here, but we won't help our own people. Anyways, as we digress, one of the things that I do want to harp on the public speaking, because there was literally just like 3 or 4 of us that were there. It wasn't a huge in-depth meeting, but I do want to address that Jared and I had our attorney reached out to us and told us that Chris Seibert's attorney asked if he was receiving services on behalf of us, which meant that there was litigation coming. And, we're now, in the fight of having to retain an attorney, what this looks like for our family. And I got up and spoke and asked, what the issue was with me questioning the agenda and this information on the agenda. And just because certain properties are affiliated with certain councilmen does not claim anything to be defamation or anything like that. And I, use the word that my family is now, there's a threat of potential litigation. I also talked about needing a turn lane at Hine Street and onto West Washington, which is where our fire department sits. And there was a wreck where a car got overturned there. The mayor got very combative with me. Jared and I ended up having a meeting with him the following week just to kind of discuss moving forward. And because Chris Seibert owns a corner and one of our other families own the other two corners, it's become an issue.
So what started out as just something that we felt was necessary was needing that turn lane added there. Because now, since all of this new construction and Athens is just growing, the roads are very narrow and we need that turn lane. I mean, it's hard for any emergency vehicles. I mean, even for the fire trucks pulling in and out there and onto West Washington Street. And when we met with the mayor, he was like, the city engineer even said that it was ridiculous. Like, I could have just picked the phone up and called him. Well, at the end of our meeting, I did end up giving him a call, Michael Griffin, and he was so nice to talk to. He talked to me for a good solid 5 minutes and said that it wasn't an issue, that he honestly appreciates people calling. And before he worked for the city, he was working kind of in private industry, and his very first wreck he ever had was at that intersection, and he had already looked into doing a study about adding that turn lane there. But he noticed that building, who is owned by one of the prominent families in the city, that their process is that they would have to go through like a condemnation process.
Well, they're good at that.
They are. I mean,
if they want to,
it gives their playbook on what the city does.
Well, of course.
And so that's when I had this aha moment to Jared, like, oh, so when I got up and asked a legitimate concern for our city, that's literally, you can throw a rock from our house at this intersection, that I get framed as though I'm trying to like attack our city councilman, and it wasn't.
For once, we weren't. There was no premeditation behind it.
Right.
But I mean, now that it's out in the open, it's like, these families have taken so much from the city, they could give just a little back with these intersections and make our city a safer and better place. I think they'd still be way out in the head. Right. Just a little sacrifice on their part.
Right. So, So I also got up and I asked about that warrant fund and what that represented from like years ago. Ronnie Marks explained that that's money that's obtained from the bond market. So then we had Mr. Mark Wilson address the city council regarding the dilapidated houses that's been presented. Isn't this where he brought the poster?
Yes, I think this was the first time he brought that.
He brought a huge poster of this abandoned building that's on North Jefferson Street.
Can you guys guess who it's owned by? Oh, yeah, that's right. You got it.
Dana Henry wouldn't even look at it. I think she even like flicked the paper away. Or Ronnie Marks. It was Dana Henry or Ronnie Marks. They wouldn't even.
Of course not.
Dana Henry, she's gotten very rude lately. When we get up and speak, she won't even like look up.
You mean the empty pantsuit?
Oh, you kill me with that.
Well, that's my nickname for her. She doesn't ever question anything. She just votes yes. And there's just not much to it.
Yeah. And then Jared got up, thanked Shane Black for the Attorney General opinion that we still don't have an answer on. That he mentioned about the live stream and stuff again, and that the citizens have a right to ask questions, and I'm sure that that they're not going to give you.
Well, we do have the right to ask questions. We just don't have the right for the public to see what we're asking, because we have the meetings starting at 4.
Yeah,
it's just not a very convenient time for anybody, and people struggle to get there. But again, I think that was very intentional. And then now the people could at least watch the meeting after the fact, and you've taken that away from them too. So it's like you just don't. When we figured out that what we were saying was becoming very effective, that's when Ronnie March decided to shut it all off. Because he has a problem with, as he says, our little group. And we've become very effective with our campaign and getting the word out. And all we're doing is this is stuff that should be out in the public anyway. Right. It's not like we're doing anything special or, we're simply filming what you stopped filming and putting it out for public consumption.
It's not even like, obviously like this podcast is ours. And so we have our opinions on here, but the stuff that we post in the group is literally
very factually
very
based.
Factual, because we do have people that we don't even know in this group, and we don't want it to become, anti the city. It's literally just for exposure. So if we're putting stuff out there and says, hey, the live stream is cut off at public comments, here's these individual videos, it's true. I mean, they do turn it off. And
I think that people have appreciated that you don't have to sit there and fast forward through a 2-hour meeting, which some of them were 2 hours. Now, here's a little 30, I mean, sometimes people talk 30 seconds or 3. You have 3 minutes. And we're just posting that.
And we don't just post the people that are for us. Like if people get up and speak positive stuff for the city, agreeing with everything that they do, like you still post those videos too. I mean,
does Jesus still love the little children?
Right.
I haven't heard that in a while, so I'm wondering.
I'm starting to think that he agrees with us. Especially like you said that whenever when I said threat of litigation, that him and Mr. Marshall, like, uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, they both looked at each other.
It's been months since he's gotten up and speak. But yeah, the group. And then another thing too is that a typical city council meeting might get 150 views on YouTube. Maybe. And you have 3 people that show up and then 150 views, and we've got over 30,000 residents. Like it has the appearance that the city wants the least amount of engagement, the least amount of people listening in, so that they control the narrative.
Of course. And
so now you've got our group that's got, some of our videos are getting 800 views, and people are getting added to the groups all the time. That's what he doesn't like. The mayoral and city council races, last election cycle was less than 5,000 people voted. And now with it being in 2025 and it's an off-year election, it's going to be a lower turnout.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
We hope that we're able to get people out to vote.
Our people. Not their people. They can forget about it.
But we're trying to get the word out, and he sees how effective that is. And it's become a problem. And so, but yeah, that was pretty much what it is. Not many items on the agenda, but the key takeaway is that this was the potential, the threat of litigation that, with his attorney reaching out, asking
that amounted to nothing.
Right. Yeah.
I guess he just
Still
wants,
waiting.
He just wants us to retain an attorney. Just he thinks we're wasting money or something. I
Yeah.
don't really know.
Yeah.
But as we said in our letter, we welcome it. So bring it on.
Yeah.
If he ever listens to it again, it's like, bring it on. We're not scared. As we said in our letter, we welcome it.
Yeah.
Still welcoming. Still waiting.
Well, all right, guys. Well, thanks for listening in. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Limestone Lowdown, where we break down the issues, keep you informed, and give you facts straight from the source. Remember, your voice matters. Your vote counts, and your community thrives when we stay engaged. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay involved. Until next time, keep questioning, keep advocating, and keep shaping the future of the Limestone area. We'll see you on the next Limestone Lowdown.